Hello, please join me in a reading from chapter 1 of my book, After COVID-19, What? Which invites the reader to join in a discussion of what kind of economy and society, what kind of world we want in the light of the present crisis. Chapter 1, Posing the Questions. In 1974, the Spanish government garroted 2 men convicted of terrorism. That the Spanish state could strangle criminals to death less than 50 years ago seems almost unbelievable. However, that was the Spain of General Francisco Franco, the Spanish leader, the fascist leader who won the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s. In the mid-1970s, Franco was coming to the end of his life, and the question was frequently asked, after Franco, what? In the event when he died, Prince Juan Carlos was crowned king, and over the succeeding few years steered the country through to democracy, and later into the European common market. A success story. In Eastern Europe, another elderly dictator was coming to the end of his life. Marshal Tito had led the Yugoslavian resistance fighters against Hitler during the Second World War. When peace came, he established a less Moscow-dependent version of communism than the other Eastern European states. The problem was that the multi-ethnic Yugoslavia coalesced around his personality and political acumen. Again the question was asked, after Tito, what? Following his death, thousands died in civil wars as Yugoslavia fell apart. 2 crises, 2 very different results. Spain, despite its multi-ethnic tensions, held together. Yugoslavia did not. The world now faces a pandemic, the like of which we have not known in living memory, if ever. It has spread at lightning speed around the globe, mainly affecting the rich and middle-income countries of the world. As I write, we have still to see how Africa and South Asia will fare. Some commentators say the world will never be the same again. With social distancing becoming the main weapon used to prevent the spread of the virus, economic life, locally and internationally, nearly ground to a halt. In less than 6 weeks, the world economic system fell to pieces. Rich countries put undreamed of stimulus packages in place to prop up economic, social life and livelihoods. How these measures will be paid for is an unutterable question. Tourism disappeared and international travel, as well as travel within countries, has virtually ceased, except for transport of essential goods. Motorway traffic ceased. Airlines are going bust, and the oil industry is running out of places to store surplus production. The world has never seen anything like it. When Wall Street crashed in October 1929, it was only gradually over the succeeding months and years that the true enormity of the crisis emerged. As tariffs rose, trade declined, and with depressed prices, stimulus to trade vanished. What is going to happen today? Can the virus be brought under control quickly enough for economies to reopen? And will they bounce back as quickly as they have died? Has human society been so disturbed that until a vaccine is widely available, life cannot return to anything like normality? Do we want to return to the old normality, or has the crisis shown that it was essentially broken anyway? And yet there is a silver lining to this cloud. Air pollution is at record low levels. The sky is so clear that the people of Pakistan can see the Himalayas for the first time in decades. Delhi's smoke has dissipated. During the Chinese lockdown, people saw blue sky for the first time in years. The production of greenhouse gases has been decimated. Marshall Burke of Stanford University reckons that in China alone, lower emissions have saved the lives of 1,400 children and 51,700 adults. The planet is breathing a sigh of relief. But have we already done too much damage for this to make any difference? And will pollution levels be back to their fetid normal in a few weeks or months at most? As I write, the world's pause button has been pressed. Despite all the undoubted pain we are suffering, not least the tens of thousands of deaths that might have been avoided, we have an unprecedented opportunity to ask, where to from here? Can we challenge the economic orthodoxy and present a set of new possible narratives to the world? Is this the death of the neoliberal Washington consensus? Or are those in political and economic power too strong to allow meaningful change? Whatever the answer to these and other questions, now is the time to think of alternatives, to debate possibilities, to stimulate a multifaceted response in civil society. Let us create a groundswell of debate before the politicians and economic movers and shakers dictate our future according to their traditional short-term paradigms. Let us ask the question, after COVID-19, what?